All right, so ready for a deep dive today. We're going deep on tech and government, and frankly, some radical new ideas. We're looking at this article. It's from the Department of Technology, and it's causing a stir online.
Yeah, the scale of their vision is really something. This isn't about tweaking the system. They're talking about a total tech revolution in government.
Absolutely. And they grab your attention right away. They paint this picture. Imagine total transparency in government. Every single tax dollar accounted for online for everyone to see.
A powerful idea, no doubt. And it taps into this very real desire for accountability, right?
Hmm.
People want to know how their government actually works.
Mm.
But the big question is, how do you make it happen? The article points to blockchain as one way forward.
Right. They argue blockchain could track every political donation. Real time, tamper proof, no more shady money slipping through the cracks. Instead of waiting for audits and investigations, we'd see where the money is going instantly.
And that's just the start. They also suggest AI could be used to sniff out government waste and fraud. Think about it. Potentially billions saved for taxpayers.
So, on the surface, these technologies sound like they could be real game changers. More transparency, more accountability. But then the article gets even bolder. They propose we elect tech experts at every level of government.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Not just advisors, they're talking elected officials whose main expertise is tech.
Hmm.
Imagine your next mayor, your governor, even your local school board, all fluent in AI, data privacy, cybersecurity, the whole nine yards.
It's a bold idea. I'll give them that. On the one hand, it makes sense. In a world dominated by tech, wouldn't it be crucial to have leaders who deeply understand that world?
Absolutely. But it also raises some big questions like how do we make sure these tech-savvy leaders still represent everyone, not just those who are already tech fluent?
Exactly. Are we creating a system where, I don't know, only the technologically savvy have real power?
And how would this impact those who maybe aren't as tech-savvy? Would their voices get lost in a system that prioritizes technological expertise?
Right. It's like we're being asked to entrust our digital future to the people we vote for. But what happens if a big chunk of the population doesn't fully grasp those technologies themselves? Could this widen the digital divide even more?
It's a real concern. And it leads to another important issue the article brings up, ethics. As tech's role in government grows, so do the ethical implications.
Totally. They talk about AI being used for things like loan applications, for instance. AI can make those decisions faster, more efficiently, sure, but it could also entrench existing biases, right? If we're not careful.
Exactly. If the data used to train those algorithms is biased, then AI will be biased too. And that could lead to unfair or even discriminatory outcomes, even if the system isn't intentionally designed that way.
So let's say you have an AI system that's supposed to assess loan applications, but it was trained on data that reflects historical biases. Even if it's not programmed to discriminate, it could end up denying loans to qualified applicants simply because of those hidden biases.
Precisely. And that's why oversight is so crucial. Who's making sure these algorithms are fair? Who's responsible for making sure they're used ethically?
Right, it's a huge question, and it goes way beyond loans. Think about AI in criminal justice, healthcare, education. The potential for things to go wrong is enormous if we don't get this right.
The article suggests electing leaders who understand these technologies is key to ensuring they're used responsibly. But is that enough?
That's what we'll be exploring in this deep dive. Because while electing tech-savvy leaders might sound like a simple solution, it also opens up a whole new can of worms with a lot of complex questions we need to address.
It's like we're in this weird in-between phase. The tech is changing so fast and we're just trying to keep up, trying to figure out the rules while the game is still being written.
It's a lot to take in for sure. And this article really pushes for their solution, electing those tech-savvy leaders. But is that the only way? I mean, are there other, maybe less extreme options we could try?
That's where it gets really interesting because, yeah, having leaders who get tech is huge, right? But there are other ways to approach this. What if we gave more power to the government agencies that already focus on tech and oversight?
Interesting. So instead of a whole system overhaul, we focus on the institutions we already have, give them more resources, more expertise, maybe even more authority to really regulate how tech is used in government.
Precisely. We could even create like independent advisory boards, get experts from different fields, tech, ethics, law, you name it. They could weigh in on policies, make sure they're actually serving the public good.
Now, that's an idea I haven't heard before. Having those different voices, those independent perspectives, that could be really valuable in navigating all this.
Absolutely. And look, there's no magic bullet here, right? No single solution that solves everything. The best approach is probably going to be a mix of different strategies, whatever works for the specific challenge we're facing.
So it's not about picking one solution and calling it a day. It's about finding the right combination that gets us to a more responsible, more accountable digital future. And this is where I think it's important to bring it back to the listener. What does all this mean for the average person?
That's the million-dollar question. Because, yeah, this stuff can seem abstract, distant, but it affects all of us, whether we realize it or not. The way we govern technology is going to shape the world we live in a very real way.
Exactly. It's about our privacy, our security, our access to information, even the opportunities we have. And it gets to the heart of what it means to be a citizen in a democracy where technology plays such a huge role.
And this isn't just a U.S. thing either. This conversation is happening globally. Governments around the world are wrestling with these same questions, trying to figure out how to leverage tech's power without, sacrificing democratic values.
It's like we're watching a new world order taking shape, and tech is at the center of it all. The decisions we make now, those are going to have ripple effects for a long, long time.
For sure. And look, this article, whether you agree with their solution or not, it's got people talking. And that's important.
It really has. It sparked a debate we can't afford to ignore. It really makes you think, what's at stake here is bigger than just, some new gadgets or apps. It's about whether our systems of government can keep pace with this technological revolution.
Yeah, and not just keep pace, but actually adapt, right?
Yeah.
To fundamentally rethink how we participate in a democracy that's being reshaped by these technologies in real time.
So where do we even begin? Someone's listening to this and they're like, whoa, this is a lot. What's a good first step? What can they actually do?
Honestly, I think the most important thing is to not get overwhelmed. It's easy to tune out when things seem too big, too complicated, but we can't afford to do that. Not now.
So you're saying, that feeling of this is too much, that should be a sign to lean in, not check out.
Exactly. And it starts small, Stay informed, ask questions, be willing to learn new things as they come up, cultivate that curiosity.
It's like we all need to become more digitally literate, right? Not just consumers of tech, but active participants in shaping how it's used in our world.
Yes. Digital citizenship. Love that.
Yeah.
Because it's not enough to just vote every few years anymore. We have to be engaged citizens in the digital space too, paying attention to these issues, advocating for policies we believe in, holding our leaders accountable for the decisions they make about technology.
And if this really is a global issue like the Department of Technology claims, what can individuals do to make a difference on that scale?
That's a great question. And it shows how interconnected this all is. One powerful way to have an impact is to support organizations doing work on digital rights and governance globally.
So do your research, find those organizations that align with your values, and support their work. That's something anyone listening can do today.
Absolutely. And honestly, never underestimate those conversations, the ones you have with friends, family, coworkers. The more we talk about these things, the more we bring them into the light, the less daunting they become.
It's true. These aren't just abstract issues. They're about the kind of future we're building. And it starts with each of us becoming more informed, more engaged, more empowered digital citizens.
Couldn't have said it better myself. A call to action for the digital age.
Well, that wraps up another deep dive. We covered a lot of ground today, and it's clear the intersection of tech and government is only getting more complex. But as we've heard, understanding the issues is the first step to shaping a better future. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep asking those tough questions.